evening, everyone. Welcome to Stinchfield. I have an urgent plea to President Trump. My request is an Oval Office speech. If the guys in the studio could help me out here, that would be really great as we look through this little technical difficulty we're having here. My request is an Oval Office speech, a speech on American greatness, not a speech to convince his detractors of any
air forces is unprecedented and unbeatable. Between our Air Force and that of the Israelis, over 15,000 enemy targets have been struck. That's well over 1,000 a day. No other combination of countries in the world can do that.
It is quite amazing, and yet the mainstream media does not want to acknowledge the sheer power and might of the American military, not to mention their success rate. It is amazing to me how the mainstream media is rooting against what? President Trump, which then means they're rooting against the United States military, which then means they're rooting against America. It really is quite stunning. Well, Pete Hegseth is not happy about it.
For example, a banner or a headline, Mideast war intensifies, splashing on the screen the last couple of days, alongside visuals of civilian or energy targets that Iran has hit, because that's what they do. What should the banner read instead? How about Iran increasingly desperate? Because they are. They know it, and so do you, if it can be admitted.
Now, let me just say this, because I've been advising the Trump administration to make sure that we take the Straits of Hormuz very seriously. I don't want to see any civilian ships being bombed with unmanned vessels on the sea or drones being taken out. Those are hiccups, and those hiccups can be admitted. In any war, you cannot operate at Six Sigma, at 100% success rate. It's just not going to happen. We know we've already lost 13 service members. 13 too many, quite frankly, but this is what happens in war. And then there is the Straits of Hormuz. Look, you know that I love the United States military. And I love what Hegseth and his team and President Trump are doing. But I am of the model that the Straits of Hormuz is everything. And in many respects right now, it means more than anything in Iran does, because we've decimated so many of their installations in country. We have got to figure out a way where civilian vessels, freighters, are not being attacked. The bottom line is we have to operate Six Sigma there, where no boats are attacked. That will bring certainty back to the world. Yet Hegseth's not happy about the criticism of what's happening in the Straits of Hormuz.
Or more fake news from CNN. Reports that the Trump...
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Stinchfield. I have an urgent plea to President Trump. My request is an Oval Office speech, a speech on American greatness, not a speech to convince his detractors of anything, just a speech to remind America of reality. The United States is the greatest, most powerful nation on earth, and we all are blessed to live here. I want the president to ask Americans who may not support the special operation in Iran to at least acknowledge that what we are witnessing is awe-inspiring, that the sheer power and will of the American military plays a large role in American exceptionalism. The president needs to make it clear that the nation cannot follow the path of Europe. Europe's all-out thirst for globalist ideas like open borders, mediocrity, the tolerance of criminals, even terrorists. This is why we are witnessing firsthand the slow death in real time of Europe. That is not America, but it is what Democrats want for us. This country is too great for that. In fact, the entire world looks to us as a beacon of greatness. President Trump has restored that in America. He has made it our mission to make America great again. Now is his moment to ask the entire country to join him in what needs to be a celebration of America. From the Oval Office, I respectfully ask the president to call out the Democrats, put their behavior on full display, their history of bad, very bad decisions. It's time for President Trump to channel his inner Ronald Reagan as a statesman and just point out the facts, because the facts literally tell it all. The Democrats shut down the Department of Homeland Security in an effort to what? To stick it to Trump. So now the American people suffer at the hands of Democrat pettiness. Airports are a mess. The TSA agents quit, tired of not being paid. Quite frankly, who can blame them? Remind the world, Mr. President, that the Democrats are causing this pain. And at a time when national security is a real concern, they do this. The president needs to ask the Democrats to put politics aside and fund the most critical department we have, the Department of Homeland Security. He should remind the American people of the things Democrats put us through. Installing Joe Biden as president, even considering an inept candidate like Kamala Harris for what? Not because they thought Joe and Kamala were the best to lead, but because they thought Joe and Kamala were the best to follow, to serve as elitist pawns, to carry out the bidding of the anti-American globalists that fund and run the Democrat Party. Billionaires that want America destroyed. Remind us, Mr. President, of the scam called Obamacare. Our healthcare system has never been worse or more expensive. Remind us of who pushed the defund the police movement, one of the dumbest ideas in American political history. Democrats did. Remind them of the riots, Black Lives Matter, and Antifa, all designed to bring down America through the communist rules for radicals playbook. And remind us how Barack Obama is the architect of that division and hate, and how that mentality is still embraced by Democrat leadership. Ask for unity, not on policy, but for love of country. The president should point out how he stopped the world from using us as its own daddy warbucks, explain how the United States will no longer be exploited by paying the bills and tariffs of failing nations instead of the world paying ours. And finally, explain the war in Iran. Explain why it was necessary from Iran's looming nuclear capabilities, its plans to assassinate President Trump, its responsibility for killing tens of thousands of Americans, and its promise to kill more. I ask the president to give this speech now because America needs it, right from the Oval Office. Now is the time for the president to explain the moves he's making, not boastful, but hopeful. There are those who need a reminder, a lesson on the Trump-inspired return of American exceptionalism. President Trump will never convince those who despise him, so don't try to. Just stick to realities. And because I personally know President Trump and his love for this nation, and maybe even more importantly, his love for its people, end with a message of inspiration that the bright future we prayed for is upon us now. That's what I ask of President Trump. We need that speech. With me now to discuss this, speechwriter, confidant, and strategist to political legends and presidential giants, Ronald Reagan included, as well as Richard Nixon. Ken Kachihigan is with us. Ken, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
Ken, you wrote, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, President Trump's first inaugural address. What do you think President Trump should say to the people if he was to take my advice and make an Oval Office address to address some of these things we talked about?
You know, I have an even different idea about where that speech should be coming from, Grant. And I worked on many speeches with President Reagan, not in the Oval Office, of course, but this one should come from a place called the Roosevelt Room, named after Presidents Franklin Roosevelt and Theodore Roosevelt. And in that Roosevelt Room, it's a special place. We have many meetings in there. And there's the American flag, but it's surrounded by the flags of all the military services. And the flags of all the military services are draped with battle ribbons from every one of the military campaigns of all the services, the Air Force, the Army, the Marines, the Navy, and it's a very special place. And he could say, I'm departing from the Oval Office today to give this speech in the Roosevelt Room from two presidents who stood in at times of war, Theodore Roosevelt, who fought in battle campaigns, and Franklin Roosevelt, who presided over the greatest campaign in World War II. And behind me are the battle ribbons and of military heroes of the great battle campaigns of America. And we're about to add another one from a great battle campaign in the war in Iran. And what's happening today are we're standing against the cheerleaders of defeat. The cheerleaders of defeat that you're hearing from bombarding Americans every single day. And I'm here to be a cheerleader of hope and a cheerleader of the future about those great heroes that are represented by these flags behind me today. And then talk about some of the things that you just talked about in your opening remarks. That's the kind of thing that I would open with in that talk. Now, what's important about the president doing this kind of speech is to probably, and I know this is tough on President Trump, is to get away from some of these Oval Office press conferences. Because by doing them, he's allowing the questions that are thrown at him by reporters to divert his message a little bit. And by going into a speech like this from the Roosevelt Room, which I think would command attention because it would be different. And if he would stick to his remarks and not extemporize, I think he would grab their attention and stay on message and make them focus on that single message instead of letting reporters bombard him with different questions like, when's the war going to end? How long is the war going to end? Aren't you bothered by troops being killed? And when's the Strait of Hormuz being opened? Here, he's letting them determine a lot of the message.
Well,
because of what you suggested in your opening remarks, the essential part of it, Grant, is that he can control the message. And then he can end with a message of hope. And then I've got one more idea, and that is, I wonder where the president was when he was a civilian back in October of 1983, when the Marine barracks blew up in Lebanon, killing 241 of our soldiers. That was just one example of the hundreds and thousands of Americans that have been killed or harmed by the terrorism that has been funded and inculcated by Iranian terrorism. And that's what we're fighting for. And he can explain that in detail if he can control the message. And that's what I would propose.
I think, Ken, those are all great ideas. I love the Roosevelt Room idea as well. I think even those you're not going to convince about the war in Iran, we should at least try to convince them of American greatness and what this symbolizes and support our troops. But you said it, these detractors, these purveyors of negativity, they're all over the place. And I think if President got his lone voice, I think it would serve him very, very well. Ken, I appreciate you coming on the program tonight. Thank you so much, sir, for your insight.
Thank you, Grant. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'd love you to check out Ken's book, Behind Closed Doors. The website is ReaganandNixon.com. All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk about Iran here. And I will tell you this. The most shocking news out of Iran right now is that the son of the now deceased supreme leader, who is the new supreme leader, It's apparently gay. As serious as everything is going on in Iran, and it is serious. Word that the intelligence community believes the new supreme leader is gay literally got a laugh out loud from President Trump in the Oval Office until the intelligence community is still laughing about it. Apparently, he has a long-time sexual affair with a childhood tutor of his. This, though, as he appears to be quite possibly disfigured. There are reports that he was flown to Russia for medical help. Iran is on the ropes. Now, to the idea of President Trump getting the allies to help us secure the Straits of Hormuz. This is where the world's economy goes through when you talk about the oil going through there. The allies need to help. You have Japan and Australia basically saying, no, we won't help, and others as well. Here's President Trump today.
We get less than 1% of our oil from the Strait, and some countries get much more. Japan gets 95%. China gets 90%. Many of the Europeans get quite a bit. South Korea gets 35%. So we want them to come and help us with the Strait. We have it in very good shape.
So it's amazing he's asking China. That tells me him and Xi Jinping are talking. I don't know if there's a deal in place, but they're talking. Now, what about allies like our closest allies, Great Britain and France? Let's begin with France.
Ultimately, we have to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to ensure.
I have spoken to him. He's been on a scale of 0 to 10. I'd say he's been an 8. Not perfect, but it's France. We don't expect perfect.
Are you confident that France will help with the reopening of Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think he's going to help. I mean, I'll let you know. I spoke to him yesterday.
But it's France, as President Trump says. Well, with me now to discuss all of this is former intelligence operative and author of Spy Master of Monte Carlo. Robert Erringer is with us. Robert, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me, Grant.
Are you at all shocked that we're not getting the help that I at least thought we'd get a little help with this? Everybody seems to be running the other direction on this.
Well, it doesn't seem like we asked for it to begin with, and Article 5 of NATO only calls upon countries in a defensive posture to come to the aid of another country. I believe that the NATO countries right now see this as an offensive act by the United States, and so they're not obliged to do anything more than sit by the wayside.
Do you agree, Robert, do you agree that that's a load of bullcorn? If we abided by NATO rules, the United States wouldn't have to do anything for Europe. Yet we give them money. We give them ammunition. We give them everything under the sun. We have been the daddy warbucks for Europe. This isn't about NATO rules. This is about the United States saying, hey, we need a little help here. Why don't you be nice guys and friends of ours, because we are there to protect your asses from everybody else and spring into action. Forget the NATO rules, shouldn't they?
I guess it's, I mean, I'm looking at it from their perspective rather than saying what I would do, but I think it's a little payback for Ukraine, for Trump not coming to the aid of Ukraine the way Britain, France, and other NATO countries expected.
All right, Robert, I need to get this.
Yeah.
Robert, I need to get this straight, though. So are you speaking in terms of not coming to the aid of Ukraine? Look, we have given billions and billions of dollars. What more do you want from us from Ukraine? Okay. Are you simply speaking on behalf of Europe? They're not grateful enough, or is this you that believes this?
Well, no. I'm looking at it from Europe's perspective because I'm trying to explain to you their thinking. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think they're going to suffer from it greatly because it means that NATO won't be taken as seriously as it should be. And not only that, the Strait of Hormuz is a main artery for oil. It's like blood going to the heart. You close off an artery and it chokes. You don't live. Well, oil is the lifeblood of the world, and Europe Europe is 10 to 15% dependent on the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. Sooner or later, they're going to need to get involved. Otherwise, their prices are going to go sky high, which, of course, they don't want to happen.
It seems to me like they have no realization that Europe is dying right before our eyes. Their global policies, the open borders, the being welcoming in basically terrorists and jihadists into their nations, watching the Middle East basically self-destruct only for President Trump to rescue it and now have it back on the right track. And yet they seem blind to all of this, Robert.
You put your finger on it. Part of their problem is they don't want insurrection in their own countries, where France now has a population that's about 10% Muslim. UK and Germany, it's about 7%. So I think they're probably concerned that if they get involved, they're going to have the Muslim, or a large segment of it, hitting the streets and causing all kinds of civil unrest. It's a problem that they've begged for because they've opened their borders and essentially they've been invaded without a bullet being fired.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch unfold. Robert, I appreciate you coming on. I didn't mean to get upset with you. I get so frustrated by Europe. They get me going. You even spelling out their thoughts set me through the roof, my man. So again, my apologies to you. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you, Grant. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, and thank you for your service to this country as well. President Trump summed it up like this. He puts it pretty good. Cut 8 if you can, guys. Behind the glass, roll it.
It's interesting. I'm almost doing it in some cases, not because we need them, but because I want to find out how they react. Because I've been saying for years that if we ever did need them, they won't be there. Not all of them, but they won't be there. I was very surprised with the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom, 2 weeks ago, I said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really didn't want to do it.
Well, when you have pansy global elitists, they're not going to want to do anything for you, Mr. President. It really is a shame. Here's one thing I love. Real quick, I think we have time to play it. Benny Harmony caught up with a bunch of pro-Trump Iranians that are here in the United States, and this is literally why I love the Iranian people.
Tell us what your perspective is on the war that's happening in Iran, and do you support what President Trump is doing?
Definitely support the president 100%, and this is the only chance we have, the world has, to get rid of the Islamic terrorism.
What is your opinion on what President Trump is doing for the Iranian people?
Thank you. What we think, the whole world can see it. Something nobody else can do it. He finally, after 47 years, as a 47th president of USA, did it. Thank you, President Trump.
And just one more question about the American president. One word to describe him, what would you guys use?
He's going to be, his legacy for Iranians and the world is going to be the president for peace.
He's our hero. What is your message to the Iranian regime?
Go to hell.
You can say anything you want.
This is your end.
Go to hell and this is your end. You see what I mean? They're great, and they're welcome here. And what great group of freedom lovers, which is really what we want in America. People who embrace this country and the ideals we were founded on. All right, up next, the Trump administration has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. However, there is only so much the government can do. And what if we really want to make America healthy again? That starts at home with each and every one of us, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. They offer a variety of products to keep you and your family prepared, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more, that can help you stay healthy and live longer and live a more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/voice. Do it today, twc.health/voice. Use that promo code VOICE for 10% off. All right, another year, another left-wing awards show. Yes, we'll talk about the Oscars when we come back.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
Lazar Garcianovich here from Japan. Love Real America's Voice, real news, honest views, and love seeing everyone there. God bless America.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
This is Giselle Chaffin. I'm from North Carolina. I'd like to let you know that RAV News is the best news. #1 news. Truth seekers seek to find the truth. It'll set you free.
Welcome back, everyone. What does my buddy Larry Elder say? We watched it so you didn't have to. That about the Oscars. Between the be good buttons, the ice out buttons, and all of the beta males and Karens, the Oscars was virtually unwatchable.
It's an Artists for Ceasefire pen, and what we are demanding is a ceasefire in Gaza. And I think that I am so blessed to have a platform, and this is the least I can do to use it. And like sometimes the news cycle is so fast and people move on, but the people in Gaza and the West Bank are still suffering.
We've already had a virtual ceasefire in the West Bank and Gaza, so I don't know what she's talking about there. Now, a bunch of pontificating, self-grandizing, overpaid actors is not really what America needs to see, but I'll give you this guy, what's his name? Javier Bardem, I believe.
People really didn't talk politics this year, but you did.
I did, I think.
And why was it important for you?
Because I think it's important to understand and to bring awareness that you can do both. You can be part of the movie-making community, which is an important community, and also be a citizen that uses this huge speaker to denounce what one thinks it's injustice.
I'm convinced these people are all dumb, actually. Like, they just hear the talking points and then march out and spew it because they think this is what Hollywood wants. It's not what the people want. I will say this. I thought this was funny, and I'm going to get his opinion from my buddy over at the Media Research Center, Curtis Houck, here in a second. But this was Conan O'Brien.
I should warn you, tonight could get political, okay? And if that makes you uncomfortable, there's an alternate Oscars being hosted by Kid Rock. Yeah. It's at the Dave & Buster's down the street. A lot of tickets for that.
So, I don't know. I thought that was funny. I know a lot of people won't, as a play off of what we did for the Super Bowl, which was great, the alternate show. I want to bring in now managing editor of Newsbusters over at Media Research Center, Curtis Houck, is with us. Curtis, did you think that was funny, or am I just totally out of bounds on that?
Accuse him of being a pedophile, so I didn't really have a problem with that one at all, unlike what Coden also did in his monologue by saying, well, unlike, the U.S. is unlike the UK that actually arrests pedophiles, which, I mean, it's kind of silly.
Guess what? We have that clip, if they could play it for the guys behind the glass, of Conan making that exact joke. Roll that for me.
It's the first time since 2012, that there are no British actors nominated for Best Actor or Best Actress. Yeah. British spokesperson said, yeah, well, at least we arrest our pedophiles. So we got that going for us.
That's a low one, Curtis. And the whole show was filled with idiocracy, low blows, par for the course. But how out of touch are they, Curtis?
Along with the fact that they have heavy security, Grant, and they want to take our guns away like they are where I am in the People's Democratic Republic of Virginia under so-called moderate Abigail Spanberger. I think that's very illustrative, very important to see the distinction there, that they want heavily armed security because, well, people do actually want to kill us, but, you regular folk, to heck with that kind of thing. What I generally take away from these award shows is just how miserable a lot of these Hollywood elites are. They define their happiness based on who's in office. They define whether they're proud to be American or proud to be global citizens based on whether their team is in charge. And it goes to their core that these are godless people who do not believe in some sort of grander plan and design out there, and that we're not alone in the universe. They believe that they're the only ones that exist in their own little world. And instead of showing gratitude for this country and the bounty of free speech that we have here, they would rather complain and offer dumb, uneducated talking points about everything from Gaza to the president.
It's interesting. You mentioned that they're unhappy, and they've got millions of dollars. Not that money buys happiness, but it sure allows you to do things that can make you happy. That's for sure. But I was just telling a buddy of mine yesterday that Democrats are basically miserable people. They're angry about everything. You don't have to be a star to be angry. They're angry about everything. They want people to come help them. They want government to rescue them. Nothing's right. They don't want to do anything or take any personal responsibility to it. And then they get grumpy and you get these Karens. I just don't think our side of the aisle is as dejected and angry as the Democrats are.
Yeah, no, I mean, I went to college in the Obama years. I still had a great time in college. I didn't walk around campus at Penn State thinking of how terrible my life is. Yes, Obamacare was killing businesses, and there's still a lot of fallout from that. But, at the end of the day, I was blessed to go to a great university, get a good education, get a great job at Newsbusters, and then President Trump came along. Obviously, my life improved, but I wasn't defined by that. And you look at the best picture, one battle after another one. It is an Antifa glorifying kind of movie. It's dystopian. It goes to your point as well about the negativity out there. It's not really cheery by any stretch.
No. Let me play one more for you because this is a guy I despise. His name is Jimmy Kimmel. Most people out there know him. I actually watched Melania, the documentary, over the weekend, and I actually thought it was good. Now, I like documentaries. I like these kinds of things, and I'm not saying it because I'm biased. I was actually interested in it, and I have a very short attention span. Listen to Jimmy Kimmel here.
Fortunately for all of us, there is an international community of filmmakers dedicated to telling the truth, oftentimes at great risk, to make films that teach us, that call out injustice, that inspire us to take action. And there are also documentaries where you walk around the White House trying on shoes.
Slam at Melania, which they always do, and she doesn't get the credit she deserves. Curtis, last word.
Yeah, just like journalists, Hollywood elites think they are the main character. They think they are heroes. They actually put their lives on the line all the time for the rest of us. Unlike, the men and women who put on the uniform and have died recently fighting a tyrannical regime. Jimmy Kimmel should go over to Iran or North Korea and see whether he still has free speech rights over there. Or go over to Germany, where if you tweet the wrong thing, they'll come visit you, and 60 Minutes thinks that totes my goats. So, and Melania is eligible for next year. And I objectively saw about half of it. My mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and my wife were watching it the other night, and I was impressed. I didn't really know what to expect.
It was put together well, and I really did enjoy it. I would urge people to go out there and watch it. Hey, before I let you go, I'll just show you this quick video. 11 guys behind the glass. Michael B. Jordan. I think he may at least lean conservative. He's very well known for his prowess with firearms. He didn't go to some fancy restaurant. He ended up going, after winning an award, I believe, he went to, where was this? Was it In-N-Out Burger?
In-N-Out.
That's where it was. In-N-Out Burger. And you know what? Everybody was loving him there, Curtis. How do you think he's conservative? Real quick for me.
I think so. I mean, he talked about, first thing he said was God is good when he got up on stage, and you could hear a few people murmur say all the time. So some people are still closeted, Christians there. And I mean, you don't just show up to a greasy spoon type place just for the PR. You actually have to like what you're getting there.
Yeah, I think you're right. And he is very formidable with a firearm, trained by some of the best in the industry, by the way. And that'll tell you all you need to know. Yeah. What's that, Curtis?
It's not fake. It doesn't look performative.
It's not fake. I can tell you he knows what he's doing when it comes to guns. Curtis Houck, as always, it's great to see you. At Curtis Houck on the platform X, at Newsbusters is the two to follow. Thank you, buddy, as always.
Thanks, man. Talk soon.
Absolutely. All right, listen, folks, I've been telling you a lot. America is focused on strengthening domestic energy production and securing reliable resources for the future. One company working in that direction is Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. After decades of geological research and land assembly, Lost Soldier has developed a large natural gas project spanning approximately 40,000 acres in Wyoming's Rocky Mountain region. Independent engineering evaluations estimate the property contains significant natural gas resources, positioning it as a meaningful domestic energy opportunity. Lost Soldier's development plan includes a multi-well drilling program designed to responsibly increase production over time using improving technologies. Growing demand from industries such as power generation, manufacturing, AI, data infrastructure continues to drive the need for reliable, cleaner burning natural gas. The company is led by an experienced management team with a long history in energy development and public markets. To learn more about Lost Soldier Oil and Gas and their energy project and how you can get involved, visit lostsoldier.com or scan the QR code that you see on your screen there, lostsoldier.com. All right, the LGBTQ woke mind virus still trying to indoctrinate your children. We will talk about it next.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Hi, my name is Tracy Ellis from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
Lazar Garcianovich here from Japan. Love Real America's Voice, real news, honest views, and love seeing everyone there. God bless America.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
This is Giselle Chaffin. I'm from North Carolina. I'd like to let you know that RAV News is the best news. Number one news. Truth seekers seek to find the truth. It'll set you free.
Welcome back, everyone. In Colorado, there is a new bill that will be debated. It is called the Children Are Not for Sale Act. Do you believe it's a Class 2 felony to sexually traffic for sexual servitude children? Should be a Class 1. I mean, that's the highest level. How it's not at the highest level, I have no idea. You would think that this bill would sail through, but with Democrats, you just don't know. We'll be keeping an eye on that bill. Colorado has a long history, though, of damaging children. I don't know if you heard the story of a mother who found out that her daughter was secretly put into an LGBTQ club designed to transition her daughter without the parents' knowledge. This kind of thing, I fear, is happening around the country, and I want to bring in that mother we're talking about. She is the executive director of Protect Kids Colorado. Erin Lee is with us. Erin, welcome to the program.
Hi, Grant. Thanks for having me.
Erin, it's a pleasure, and thank you for the fight that you're putting up. I've been watching you now over the last few days, and I apologize, not longer than that. But man, oh man, you are fighting for children in Colorado and beyond. Can you tell me briefly the story of your daughter, what happened, and why that sparked such a fight in you, Erin?
Yeah, it's been almost 5 years now that my daughter had just turned 12 and was lured into this secret gender and sexuality club disguised as an art club, where an outside organization called Skittles told her, if you're not comfortable in your body, that means you're transgender. And if you don't know who you're attracted to, that means you're queer. And they glitter bombed her with toys and celebration, taught her explicit concepts like polyamory, and told her over and over, do not tell your parents about this meeting. So repeatedly emphasized, your parents might not be safe. You don't have to tell them. And when she came home and told us, we were vilified. So the school district actually sent in a mandated reporter for a well child check on our family because we weren't instantly affirming of her trans identity that they put on her in this secret meeting we weren't even supposed to know about.
So it's stunning to me because you would think common sense tells you that any changes in a child you would want to have discussed with the parents. I don't know if your child was showing any changes or not, but it was the exact opposite that happened. They tried to do something without your knowledge and then vilify you for it all. What is the outcome of all this? I know your case had gone to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court refused to take it up. So you really have not had any justice with this yet?
Yeah, and our daughter wasn't showing signs. She was just a normal girl in the midst of COVID, starting puberty. Of course, she was uncomfortable in her 12-year-old body, and they just completely took advantage of her vulnerability. And so we did. When we went public, there were so many other families that came forward that there are multiple families on our lawsuit that Pam Bondi took, went all the way to the Supreme Court. They didn't take it up, but I want to believe that we put a crack in the dam for the families behind us. There are 2 other cases that still sit before SCOTUS from Massachusetts and Florida, very similar nature, secret school transitions. And so they did. 3 justices led by Alito put out a decision that they didn't take the case, but they recognized this was troubling and tragic and that it had to be addressed by the lower courts, that this was an issue being dodged and of great national importance. So this unfortunately is such a ubiquitous issue. What happened to my family is not uncommon. It's almost like it's the rule, not the exception, that parents are left in the dark, our kids are being sexualized, and if they show any signs of being uncomfortable in their body, then they're automatically labeled as transgender, and we're left out of the equation. So we have not had justice for our school district.
You mentioned Justice Alito and his writings here. Let me put that up on the screen, cut 7. He says, quote, "I remain concerned that some federal courts are tempted to avoid confronting a particularly contentious constitutional question, whether a school district violates parents' fundamental rights when, without parental knowledge or consent, it encourages a student to transition to a new gender or assist in that process." He goes on to say the troubling and tragic allegations in this case underscore the great and growing national importance of the question that these parent petitioners present. Now, he says he remains concerned. Concerned is an understatement, Aaron, because if you are correct that, and I believe you are, by the way, that this is going on still in states across this country, something has to be done to protect these children, Aaron.
Yes. And these are our fundamental rights. I'm glad they addressed it that way. Yes, they're constitutionally protected. I believe our founding fathers are rolling in their grave at the thought that this would even need to be explicitly written into the Constitution that parents parent their children, not the government. But that's what's happening on so many levels, that parents are being left in the dark. Government thinks they know what's best for our kids. And if we're not willing to go along with it, we're the enemy. In fact, there are over a dozen families here in Colorado, mostly dads, who have lost custody of their kids for not being willing to go by the transgender identity, who either lost full or partial custody of their children because they're not willing to do what the government has done in secret with their kids. So I know it's happening everywhere, and it's happened in red and blue states alike.
You know, it's such a shame because Colorado is such a great state. But they've gone off the deep end. No offense to you living there. And you know, Real America's Voice, our headquarters are in Denver. Colorado's gone off the deep end. And it is such a shame that this is going on. Last question, real quick. Did anything happen to the teacher that tried to do this? That literally, I would say, tried to mentally kidnap your child?
The teacher was celebrated and promoted. I found through public record requests where they apologized to her for me going public, that she would had to suffer that kind of attention. She's now still in charge of this club 5 years later, and she's also in charge of the student council overnights that happen at the facility where she's alone with middle school children. So she has been celebrated. The school district has doubled down on transitioning kids and lying to parents. As young as 8, I found evidence of them transitioning an 8-year-old after parents objected. Encourage people to look into Laurel Elementary School. So it's still common practice, and they celebrate the teachers who are doing it.
And your daughter's doing great?
She's doing great. It's been 5 years. Yep, she's one of the lucky ones that came out on the other side.
Great. Aaron Lee, I appreciate all the work that you're doing to fight for Colorado kids. Please keep us posted on anything we can do to help you in that fight. Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks.
Absolutely. All right, folks, is the Cuban regime about to fall? We will talk about that next. But first, download God, Grit, and Guns by the Truth Bombers and enter the Billboard plaque giveaway once the song hits #1. Check it out.
If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you.
Don't hate nobody, I just won't kneel. I don't chase headlines, I live what's real. I raise my kids to think and pray, to know the cause before they say, I don't scare easy, I don't scare fast. It's God, grit, and guns, no fear in my chest.
Because of you, Real America's Music just released the brand new single, God, Grit, and Guns, and it's already climbing the charts. Now let's take it a step further. Go download the song right now, and you'll automatically be entered to win a special prize. If God, Grit, and Guns hits #1 on Billboard, one random downloader will receive the plaque, a real piece of music history. So what are you waiting for? Scan the QR code or search God, Grit, and Guns on iTunes and download it today. Let's run it up the charts.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news. Breaking news. News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by patriots for patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Hi, my name is Tracy Downs from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
Lazar Garcianovich here from Japan. Love Real America's Voice, real news, honest views, and love seeing everyone there. God bless America.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
This is Giselle Chaffin. I'm from North Carolina. I'd like to let you know that RAV News is the best news. #1 news. Truth seekers seek to find the truth. It'll set you free.
Welcome back, everyone. I have told you before that I think once we get the special operation in Iran wrapped up, next stop, Cuba. But I don't think bombs are going to have to be dropped in Cuba. I think President Trump has set Cuba up to fall by cutting off the oil. Real signs of that happening now. There is a blackout in Cuba happening. Apparently, with the oil cut off, Cuba is having a real hard time generating electricity. Now, this is a balancing act the president has to play, because you don't want to hurt the people so bad that they can't survive. Yet you want it to get bad enough that the people say, hey, we're going to step up and do something about it. It looks like that's what happened. This is protesters in Cuba basically hurling rocks. VO1 for me, guys. Hurling rocks at the Communist Party office. You can see a fire roaring in the background. This as the people of Cuba are absolutely fed up. So this is President Trump today talking about Cuba and what will ultimately happen with it.
When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I can do anything I want with it.
This is why I love him. He is going to trigger every single leftist. He can do whatever he wants with it. When you have the United States military like we have, he can. But I'm going to tell you this, what President Trump wants for Cuba is freedom. I can tell you he doesn't want it to become another state. He doesn't want it to be American territory. What he wants is freedom and people to lead Cuba as a free nation like it once was. I think he'll be able to get there with it. I really, really do. Real quick, I'd like everybody out there to say a special prayer for Susie Wiles, the president's chief of staff. She has been diagnosed with breast cancer. The president said this about Susie.
I said, do it immediately, because with that particular ailment, the faster the better. That's the only thing I know about it. The faster the better. She's going to do it immediately. So she just started, actually, and she's going to be in great shape. The prognosis there is excellent, beyond excellent. So
thank you, sir.
It is one of the most treatable forms of cancer. Still, we offer her prayers to Susie Wiles. Yep, God bless her. No one has to go through that, or should. All right. The European Commission is worried that the attacks on Iran are taking away the spotlight from Ukraine. That's next.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news. Breaking news. News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Hi, my name is Tracy Down from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
Lazar Garcianovich here from Japan. Love Real America's Voice, real news, honest views, and love seeing everyone there. God bless America.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
We know everyone across this globe is insane for Ukraine, including members of the European Union over at the United Nations. Roll it.
Of course, it's important that the attention on the Middle East does not take away the attention from Ukraine, that the attention does not fizzle out there. We see the easing of sanctions on oil on Russia by
Doesn't want Iran to take the focus off Ukraine because they're insane for Ukraine. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Stinchfield's Army rolls because of all of you.